Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to today's discussion. And we have a very illustrious set of academicians and educators from across the country. And today we will talk about one important aspect of the higher education system on the assessment part and how technology is impacting the assessment systems. So before we start, it's my privilege to introduce the panelists for today's discussion. I'll one by one call the names. We have with us Dr. Shashi Anand Sridharan, Vice President of Kalasalingam University. Welcome, Dr. Sridharan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. We have with us Dr. T. Shashi Prabha, Vice Chancellor of Satyabhama Institute of Science and Technology. Welcome, Dr. Shashi Prabha.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
We have with us Dr. Balakrishna Shetty, Vice Chancellor of Sri Siddharth Academy of Higher Education, Deemed to be University. Welcome, Dr. Shetty. We have with us Dr. Vikas Singh, Vice Chancellor of Gita University. Welcome, Dr. Singh.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for inviting.
It's a pleasure. We have with us Professor Raghuvir Singh, Vice Chancellor of Tirthankar Mahavir University. Welcome, sir. We have with us Professor Dharam Buddhi, Vice Chancellor of Uttaranchal University. Here. We have with us Dr. Manjit Kaur Kaushal, Vice Chancellor of CMJ University. Great to have you here, Professor B.A. Satyanarayana, Vice Chancellor of C.V. Raman Global University, Bhubaneswar. Welcome, sir. We have with us Dr. B. Sandil Kumar, Dean and Director, Health Sciences, Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation, Deemed to be University. Welcome, Dr. Sandil. And we are joined from the solution provider side by Mr. Manish Mohta, Managing Director of Learning Spiral. Welcome, Manish.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me to this interesting conversation today.
Great. What we will do is there are 2-3 very critical areas around assessment, and I'd like to start with Dr. Shashi Anand Sridharan. My first question is, online assessment really became mainstream during the COVID times and the pandemic when everything was being done virtually. Now, with things again normalizing and everything now open, is there really a need now for online assessment? Dr. Sridharan, Shashi Anand Sridharan.
Thank you for the opportunity. So I'd like to start off by saying that, yes, even though we have moved back to the older time, wherein things are more physical right now, what all were the advantages of the online period, we can definitely continue to do so. And assessment is one major area wherein having it online plays a major role. Why? A lot of reasons. So first and foremost, having an online assessment helps in having an adaptive model of assessment for the students. Prior to COVID or prior to online assessments, what we have been doing is it's a standard template question paper and everyone answers the same. But do we want to assess our students that way? Given that we have a variety of students, right from slow learners all the way to fast learners in each and every class and each and every program, having an online assessment model helps us make it adaptive so that as and when the students are answering it right, so they can have more and more challenging questions so that they also feel that they are being assessed the knowledge in up to their capabilities. So definitely, yes, online assessment Another point I'd also like to add on in terms of online assessment is it makes the evaluation process for the faculty members also very easy compared to going through multiple pages of answer sheets, scanning them, getting them evaluated. When we have an online tool which makes it easy for us, definitely adapting to that would be a best solution. So these would be my initial remarks. So adaptive for the students, ease for the faculty members also. Definitely online assessments are here to stay, and definitely it will be an enhancement as well as ease of process for the institutions as well.
Sure. Great. Thanks. So the online assessment is adapted for both students and faculty. Dr. Shashi Prabha, the same question to you. Do we really need online assessment now at this juncture?
Yes. So very good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity to APAC Network. So the right question, because the students are very much interested to undertake online assessment examinations. So from the students' point of view, they prefer to have examinations and other assessments in online. But right now, the institutions, what they are doing after this pandemic, they started conducting the examinations offline. But a blended mode, some of the class assessments, quizzes, and other assignment questions. So through LMS, some of the institutions are practicing still. So we are in Satyabama also. So we still uses blended way of assessing students. Only the end semester and the continuous assessment examinations we are conducting in offline. Other than that, all the class tests and quizzes, everything we are conducting through the online mode. And this online mode is actually making the process faster and easier. So as our Dr. Shashianand was mentioning about, and we can able to check the students' competency at whatever level we want. From the starting level to the higher thinking level, we can able to test our students through these assessment practices. And the students are finding it easy. The reason is that though we have a lot of AI-powered, proctored online assessment tools are available, still there's a chances of doing malpractices. So that we couldn't able to avoid. So that's why now institutions have started moving to the offline way of assessing students. With the mass strength of students and monitoring them, though apart from proctored examinations, monitoring through the manual is very difficult to manage the huge crowd of students. So if you can able to bring out a good technological solution, which you can totally stop the malpractices in the online assessment, will be good. And I request editor companies to think forward and find out some appropriate solutions to solve this issue, so that in the institutions we are happy to adopt those new tools, which will totally eradicate these malpractices during the assessment examinations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So basically, online assessment can improve or enhance the transparency of the process, is what Dr. Shashi Prabha. I'll next come to Dr. Balakrishna Shetty and again put the same question to you. What do you think about the relevance of online assessment system leveraging technology now? Dr. Balakrishna Shetty. I can't see Dr. Balakrishna. Okay. Then I'll go with this question to Professor Raghuveer Singh. And my question is the same question. What, according to you, you feel about the relevance of the online assessment system now currently? Okay, Raghuveer Singh has got disconnected. Okay, so okay, I'll put the same question to Professor Dharam Buddhi then. Do you think that online assessment is still relevant, and what will be the way going forward?
Yeah, Namaskar, and I must congratulate APSC for selection for choosing a wonderful topic. I feel it's a need of hour. I think we all know that when we talk about the stakeholders of any university or higher education, generally we are talking about the teachers, the faculty, the students, as well as the society. But after the COVID-19, as Madam has mentioned, the technology also has become an integrated part of the stakes. So it's one of the stakeholders is now technology. And when we say the technology, I think if we talk about the academic institutions, what I have experienced at various places, generally the academic institutions are not very ready to accept the use of technology in teaching or evaluation or in learning process. But I think COVID has made one contribution to the academicians, to the academic institutions, that we adopted the technology. And perhaps I feel that when we are talking of Industry 4.0, where technology is going to play a major role, and we are also talking, then we are also talking about the higher education 4.0 or education 4.0. Under that scenario, without the use of technology, either it's in the teaching learning process or in evaluation or assessment process, I think it's injustice with the students, with the society. I feel it's very important to introduce the assessment through use of technologies. It may be either way, whatever it is, which will provide one of the captions which generally I use anytime, anywhere. So you don't restrict your students to I will be taking exam between 9 to 5. Even you can take in the night. But whenever the student is available, you can individualize the examination. Not necessary that all 60 students of the class should give the examination at the same time. Everyone should have the same question paper. So you can definitely make a diversified in many ways. And transparency would also be going to play a major role in that. So I feel it's very important and we must adopt as soon as possible so that the students and everyone has to get a benefit of this. With this, I close my remarks.
Thanks. So basically, you are saying the online process will increase the flexibility of how the students appear for the exam and need not follow a straight-jacketed. So, Dr. Balakrishna Shetty, you had got disconnected probably last time. So, I will come back to the same question with you. Do you think the online assessment system is still relevant now that things have opened up and all physical classes and examinations are being held?
Okay. I think I'm audible now.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. Online system, I think the first question is whether it is what you are telling is what is the future of online education. I think whether you like it or not,
Let's focusing on online assessment. My question is online assessment prevailed during online examinations during COVID. Now things have opened up. Whether online assessment is still relevant?
Online assessment, if everything has opened up now, if the students are physically available in the classrooms, I do not know how valid it is. Online assessments are not valid at all. Number one, because students are available offline; they are in the classrooms. I'll tell you, like when we wanted to conduct the examinations, there were some students who were in the hostel and there were some students who are not in the hostel. So we said we will conduct an examination or the assessment examination, not the board examination, internal assessment examination. We said that those in the hostel should write it offline only. They should come to the examination hall and write the examination. And those who are not in the hostel because they are not in the university for various reasons, we told them that they can write it online also. So we gave an option. But those students who are in the hostel, they said, no, sir, we will also write the examination online only. We will not come to the examination hall. Then, but we insisted, since you are physically present in the university, you should come to the examination hall and you should write the examination in the examination hall only. Believe it or not, all the students who were in the hostel, they vacated the hostel and they went home because they just wanted to write the examinations online. See, this is a point. This is the practical experience which we had in the university. So the question of whether it is offline or online, whether the assessment should be offline or online, I would like to say it is, it is more of, students' convenience rather than the dictum of the university or higher education institutions. Now, if they are there, they should write offline. If they are not there, they should be write online. But I'll tell you, a hybrid module is very, very important. Let us say, now students are at home and you conduct online examination and do the online assessment. Because I'll tell you, I am also a chess player. When we wanted to conduct a chess tournament, there are about 600 competitors. We said first we'll do online competition. Then we selected 8 best players and we organized offline, like on the board chess tournament. So what I'm telling is, online or offline, it depends on the availability of the student in the university. If the students are there, it is always physical examination. If the students are not there, it cannot be online. Okay. Now we can definitely do online because it is very, very simple, and we can analyze the students' performance on online assessment, but physical assessment will stay if the students are in the university.
Process becomes easier and easier for the university and for the faculty members also. So we have already applied the online question bank basically. And another thing which is very important, every student is not getting the same question. So that is also that you are covering a variety of, but of course you have to maintain the Bloom taxonomy, you have to maintain the moderation of the question paper is still very important, which generally is being done physically. So you can say it's it's a hybrid system, or it's a dual system basically. The question paper is being set up with the digital mode, but of course the moderation is again becomes very important. Technology has its own limitations sometimes. I think I 100% agree that the university slowly should go that kind of the process. Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Thanks. Next, I'll come to Dr. Manjit. Again, the same question from your university perspective, from CNJ University perspective. Are you looking at adopting online assessment more proactively? What is your opinion on
Good afternoon, sir. Actually, due to weak connectivity, I heard something, but my colleagues, they have given a very good informations. And here, especially in Northeast, if I will explain as per the Northeast, we are trying to give online. Even students also, they are willing. They are interested, comparison to physical, they are interested to give lessons online. But here, this successful rate is very less due to the low server. But if possible, like I am preferring online also, offline also, both the methods. Is availability of students, choice of the students, because nowadays many changes are there. Students, they can go for choice-based subjects also. The choice-based examination also somehow opportunity can be given to the students, and because there are some benefits also if we are giving technology, means is improve adaptability and rich collaboration, increase students fun also, enhance feedback also, foster connections, promote technical skill. And Vikas sir, he explained that if we are going online, then it reduced cost also. Yes, I'm agree. Cost also reduced because everything is nowadays digital. Education till class 12, school should be good. Class 12 education student.
There's a lot of disturbance here and disconnect. I think I'll come next. We have paucity of time. I'll come to Professor Satyanarayanan next and tweak the question a little bit. That this we heard the earlier speakers talking about this online assessment system improves transparency, flexibility, and there is a possibility of a more fair evaluation system. How much do you agree with this, and what, according to you, can be the challenges and pitfalls? Professor Satyanarayan.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me here. Good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful listening to everybody's views. As already mentioned by all our colleagues, I think, and also we started as Professor Sashi Prabha also started off, we need a blended mode. Today, I think the amount of assessment that we want to do is huge. And we are looking at NEP 2020, where we are looking at both foundational skills in various domains, domain specific skills, and then multidisciplinary capabilities, and more importantly looking at linking skill, competence and knowledge all together with multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary or transdisciplinary capabilities. So as far as we are looking basic foundational knowledge, as far as we are looking at numeracy capabilities or general science understanding or basic communication, or even issues like say integrity, plagiarization in writing, oral, written, or peer reviewed analysis. So there are huge areas where digital education or enabling assessment is very useful. It saves a huge amount of time, and even say student self-learning is involved, and a lot of assessment can be done. Peer assessments can be facilitated and noted, and also simultaneously during the class noting following up of classes, whether how much do they follow, where do I need to review my presentation. All of that I think digital can do. But the moment I come to higher order assessment, linking critical thinking, creative thinking, multidisciplinary capabilities, and competence, to certain extent even competence can be enabled by giving them simulation as far as it's reasonably linear competence, or giving them higher, like say case study based analysis to certain extent, as we said, as far as reasonably linear. The moment I come to evolving emerging areas, new knowledge domain, and seriously looking at multidisciplinary competence of bringing knowledge together, which cannot be, and again with a local context or a regional or an international, national contextual education, I think, and even there maybe even faculty are sitting in a peer reviewed assessment, I think it will be impossible to do linear digital assessment. So to certain extent where my rubrics are well defined, it will be easy to do digital. But as we are truly moving to higher order skills in education, because we no more need automate, anything that is linear is going to be automated. So such things we will use digital education. But as we move more into the skill and knowledge and their interlinked competence based quantitative decision making, creative and critical thinking analysis, where again it's very subjective. I could accept for one domain, whereas somebody would say this is irrelevant to my domain, but the other point is right. I think we will be completely lost with the digital assessment. But yes, so therefore, I think we need to be very judicious in linking our using the huge advantage in technology and its capability to save time, effort, repeated actions, documenting information, and also comparing students' progress, because we are also looking at formative assessment as a mode of learning rather than only summative assessments. So comparing the progress, all of that can happen with the digital. But true learning, because we are no more interested in to know, we want to see how can we do things, how can we solve problems, how can we find new solutions. So there I think it will be very critical that the teacher has an engagement. It can be again an online media or offline today, it doesn't matter whether it's online or offline, or even a group dynamics, but there a pure digital solution will be impossible. Therefore, as we go to higher order activities, I think it will be mandatory that I think the teacher or the taught and both are present, they are evolving live, and even a collaborative assessment, because multidisciplinary domains are involved, then it becomes impossible to do. Therefore, we will have to be very judicious when we are talking as we move towards higher order skills. Yeah.
Got it. So great. You have pointed both the pros and cons of the digital assessment process and analyzed it perfectly. Same question, I'll come to Dr. Sanjay Kumar. Whether universities are looking at online assessment more proactively, and what are the pitfalls you foresee there? You are on mute.
Good afternoon, all the dignitaries present here. We are from the health sciences background. As Professor Satyanarayana sir spoke about this competency-based education or simulation-based education or something like, add more value in that. Like, no, most of the programs are like, no, we need to have a program outcomes, course outcomes, and program learning outcomes where we need to map, and we need to map in a way like, no, the students should know what must know, do, like everything we need to map the curriculum with the outcomes. So if you are going to do the assessment only with the online, it's not possible, because you cannot do it in health sciences. And instant assessment, probably like, the formative assessment can be planned with the help of technology. A lot of technologies are available in the on the portal, like like a Kahoot or Quiz, or in even the simpler way of Google form. Also, you can do it in a way like instant assessment in the classroom level. But in case of summative assessment, like the final assessment has to be done in offline mode only. The only thing is, the only advantage of the online assessment is like, as said by a few panelists here, the time consuming for the teachers, the time, the money saving for the organization, and also the way of being a environmental sustainability mentor in our area. So we can reduce the usage of paper also by having this online assessment. So the only advantage is like, that you can save the environment by avoiding this paper. Probably like, what we are doing it in our university is like, we are asking the students to write in the iPad, and we are asking the students to upload the content in the examination portal through LMS, and we are asking the students to write the examination. The answer sheets are going to the respective examiners and are correcting the papers. So even the travel time also reduced for the examiners. So this is what we are doing it currently. But this is we are doing for the non-health sciences, not for the health sciences streams, because health science streams, again, we need to go for a competency-based and simulation-based learning and outcome. So we are not doing it. Only we are doing it in offline.
Okay, got it. Thanks. And again, you gave a fair assessment of the thing. Professor Raghuveer Singh, next I'll come to you. Again, the similar question. Basically, as an university, how are you doing the online assessment part more proactively, and what are the challenges that you face?
Good afternoon, everyone. It was nice to hear each one's statements and their own judgmental values as far as the technology in higher education assessment is concerned. My first question to myself would be, why do I use technology for assessment? I need to get that answer. Unless I get an answer, I will not use the tool. So in my mind, it has both pros and cons. It has advantages and it has limitations as well. Some of the speakers have already brought it out very well. Right. So when I look at its uses, I look at 5S. That is scale, speed, spread, simultaneity, and selection of questions out of the whole lot of bank which is available. Now, as far as these 5 are the purpose, I think technology is good. Right. It'll be able to handle very well the MCQs. Will be able to also handle the remembrance and conceptual level of the knowledge. But as the level of the knowledge increases, in terms of procedural and metacognitive, I think as of now, and tomorrow it might change a lot of things. As of now, technology has limitations. I don't find any technology is going to help me to assess the skills of students or multidisciplinary applications. That is a major constraint as of now. Now, as far as the assessment is concerned, assessment per se, I need to decide whether assessment is to learn, assessment is of learning, assessment is for grading or assessment is for change or improvement. What purpose I'm using the assessment. Based upon that, I'll take my decisions, and because it's all judgmental. It is left to the individual institutions what purpose they want to use. If they want to save cost, they are welcome, but they also have to trade off what are the disadvantages they are gaining when they actually use the technology. Okay, so when I look at the triangular relationship between a student, institution, and the teacher, you know that you have two types of relationship. One is what is called transactional, another is what we call is transformational. So as far as you are trying to maintain transactional relationship, you go for the technology. But I will find technologies limitations, inhibitions when it comes to transformational relationship. And we'll also find limitations when I try to use technology for the variations of exams, like take-home exams. Probably it will not be able to help me. Similarly, open book exams will not be able to help me, because when you consider education for the purpose of in developing a student to face realities of life, there is realities
Okay.
of examination also. That
Yes.
you need to have access to number of tools. Why can't I have the access to number of tools? So I need to align my technology with my assessment purposes and assessment purpose to my education purpose. So whatever tool is available in the market, I should use and wait for what will develop in the future. That's my take.
Got it. Got it, sir. Thanks. Thanks. And I stopped on that experiential learning part. I would like to come to that in the later round. Now I'll come to Manish. We have heard from all the academicians and educators, and Manish, you have also heard. So as a solution provider, you have heard both the pros and cons of leveraging technology in assessment process. So one, I'd like to understand how you can help the universities with providing technology solutions, and more importantly, the pros are obvious, but regarding the cons, about the challenges, how can you help them mitigate some of these challenges? Manish.
Thank you, sir. And once again, a big thank you to the August gathering here. And Rajneesh ji has put me in the spot by, putting the agenda as solely to defend the cons. So let me take a holistic view of everything that's been shared here. So if I would summarize some of the cons which were talked about. So there was the concept of, things being physical now. So students are available physically, then, why the assessment needs to be done at all online. The second one was of security. There was some, thought processes on how hybrid could help in a kind of an open world. And then there were lots of, discussion on how perhaps technology is not that helpful in evaluating higher order skills, or things which are not memory oriented, or just at the 1 or 2 level of Bloom's taxonomy. So how does technology help in doing that? So I would want to say that as a solution provider, we have also brought back the universities into a hybrid mode. So how a purely online assessment earlier was happening somewhere where the student was remote, with proctors, AI, and everything. Of course, that's still possible, and with added security, as in these days we have even conducted exams with 2 devices of proctoring, wherein there is a device at the back and of course there is a device in front. But having said that, since the students are often available on campus, so what many of the universities that we are working with have done is that we are having the assessment which is online, but it is being delivered in the classroom, where the students are coming in and they are taking up the exam in the classrooms itself, so that there is a bigger comfort level in terms of security and the sanctity of people attempting the paper, while the technology is providing them the added advantage of quicker compilation, anonymity of the student, and proper evaluation. I would want to point out here that there are two roles which technology can play in assessment. One is which is in the evaluation itself, where the evaluation could be automated. So that's the the MCQ questions and those things. But there is also a large role which technology can play when you're evaluating answers which perhaps need an evaluator, which needs a professor to be evaluating the true meaning of what the answer has been given. But the technology just makes it more seamless, makes it faster. So, what is called as digital evaluation or on-screen marking, in that the scripts or the answers, subjective longer answers, they are shown to teachers on an anonymous basis. So the anonymity helps in providing a great degree of fairness in the whole evaluation. Second, you are able to build in a QC, as in say 10% of the scripts go to a second evaluator anonymously. He doesn't know that this is the second evaluation or the first evaluation. So suddenly, even the subjective papers, the evaluation of the subjective answers, their quality and their fairness, all of that simply takes a big jump. And that's something which makes the whole technology solution a great tool to also improve something which requires a higher order professor or a teacher to go into. But at the same time, because it is not anonymous, then there is a lot of biases which might be getting formed, right from which community belongs to which class or which section or which teacher is being taught. All of that can form biases, and all of those get removed. So digital technology helps in, of course, automative grading, which is for the MCQs, etc. But it also allows you to do this digital evaluation, and that is a big tool to ensure fairness. Not to mention that when you are doing these exams and assessments, and you're bringing the feedback of the final grades and marks back to the question bank, which was talked about, then you get a fair glimpse of where your students are in terms of grasp of topics, a grasp of objectives against the course, against the curriculum. And so even for answer scripts or subjective papers, you're able to create an analytical view, a data-driven view, which can help you ensure that your delivery of education is better. So these are the kind of technology interventions which we are doing at nearly 40 plus universities across the country. So Rajneeshji, I hope I've been able to clarify some of the points.
Yes, and now let's look ahead a little bit in the future, and I'll start with again Dr. Shashi Anand. My question is, so going forward, what role do you see of technology in conducting formative or practice assessments, and especially when this NEP talks about experiential learning? This tech-enabled assessment from your own university perspective as well as from overall higher education perspective, what do you see the future? And very briefly, each panelist 2 to 3 minutes, not more than.
Definitely. So I stand upon my initial comment about technology playing a major role in assessments. One thing which I'd like to enforce about what NEP is envisioning is that by assessments, we should not think only about this end semester examinations alone, but rather it should be a continuous process, because ultimately what we are going to look at is how, we are teaching as faculty members, we are all teaching, but are the students learning? So considering this is one of the major key aspects, and I would say the foundation of NEP. So assessment should be a continuous process, and every time, not only wait for the semester examinations or mid-semester or sessional examinations, but then on a day-to-day basis, how can technology help the faculty members what the learning capacity of the students is, what the outcome of the students are, and help them develop their course content and develop their teaching methodology accordingly. So right from continuous assessments all the way till final examinations, technology will play a major role. I wouldn't say technology would completely replace the paper-based examination. Yes, there are still a lot of drawbacks, as Dr. Sashi Prabha Madam also mentioned about, like, how we can ensure that there is no malpractice, or in terms of like the ethical aspects of the online examinations. Yes, that's definitely a point of concern. And also, as Dr. Sendil Kumar mentioned, in terms of health sciences, how can we conduct practical examinations online? And even in engineering programs, lab exams, practical exams, conducting them online still remains a large, a big question mark, and open, opportunity for edutech companies to come up with solutions in this space as well. So while technology-based assessments would definitely not be replacing the physical assessments completely, it would definitely serve as a tool to assist the assessment and examination process for institutions going forward in the future. So these are my points I'd like to add.
Thanks. Dr. Shashi Prabha, next, what are your plans in the future, and where do you see how the technology solutions can help make the assessment process better?
Yeah. So as I already mentioned, if a technological solution is completely supporting the examination system without any flaws, that means without compromising the integrity of the examination, the institution will easily adapt that. But now the tools are existing, but students are taking that online examination not seriously. So from the practitioner's point of view, the online examinations are not going in a serious way. So students are finding so many different ways of copying the examination and helping others, helping through their parents, friends. So many things are happening. If at all we are conducting examinations to so many groups, WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, so many things, they are finding a lot of solutions if you are conducting the examinations in online. So if any new tool which is going to mitigate all these corruptions the students are doing during the examinations, then we can easily adapt. Otherwise, blended way of assessing students, now we have started following after the pandemic. So through the institution syllabus, we are conducting the assessments, like I said, the quizzes, other assignments. So those things that will go a long way because we have adapted partially. So that will go, that we are not going to stop. So those kind of assessment will go, but at the end, we need to have a offline examinations till we are getting a mature and complete technological solution. And now the edutech companies can think of providing an examination solution for the students with disability. The disabled students, if we can able to provide a good solutions, then the institutions are able to take it forward, because those students, particularly for those students, it is very, very essential. So I don't think we don't have proper technological tools to support those students. So that can be considered. And then the students with the multiple learning levels, if you want to assess, we can go with the technological tools. So keeping all those in mind, if you are able to get a complete tool to evaluate the students, assess the students, then institutions are happy to undertake. Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am. Dr. Balakrishna Shetty, the same question, the future technology and assessment process from your perspective, as well as from the overall higher education perspective. You are on mute.
Yes, what I think is online assessments can continue in all the universities. There should not be a problem. because as far as the accountability and honesty and authenticity of examinations, I would like to say even the physical examinations or offline examinations are also not beyond any malpractices. Okay, so we are going with the way that we should go teach the students without examinations or without assessments. Assessments are mandatory. I don't know whether the examinations. So as far as the assessments are considered, I would like to say we can have online assessments in all the university as much as possible. There is no question that projects and skills and medical examinations, they cannot be done online at all. So I should not talk about these things, because examination of a patient and doing a project, of course, sometimes project work can also be online. So I should not say that examination of the patient should be hands-on. It should be a clinical examination. We cannot talk about online examination for practicals and physical examination and clinical examination of the students. But assessment can definitely be online. We can, because it will help us to evaluate the students' standards in an easy way. It is friendly, it is easier. We can assess multiple students in a single shot. So we will definitely go with online assessment, and I'll strongly in favor of assessment, because this is a technology.
Hello.
Some amount of favorism for online examinations, but online examinations are easy, friendly, and I think we should continue with online examinations. That's what I feel. Over to you, Rajneesh.
Yeah, great. Dr. Vikas Singh, I'll come to you next. Again, a little bit crystal ball gazing. What should be the future of leveraging technology in online assessment, and what are the challenges in fully automating the processes at the university?
Rajneesh ji, I'm seriously, looking for some good solution for the final summative assessment as well. There is a lot of cost which goes into printing of these, answer scripts, evaluation of those answer scripts, then, keeping them in records for next 7 years, because that's what, we are mandated to do. So looking at all this cost, looking at all this space requirement, I actually, there are some certain solutions available where using a, kind of pen on the tablet, the answer can be written, and then faculty can evaluate that again using the online tool, and then that entire transcript, entire answer script can be then saved for later references. But still, the solutions which are available are quite costly, because if you have 3,000 students, you need to buy 3,000 different tablets or things like that. So I'm actually looking for, I believe that technology and its use is here going to stay and going to further increase in the coming years, because two benefits. Number one, saving cost, it's saving time, and something which saves both cost as well as time is bound to find more and more uses. So I personally believe that it will also make the assessment fair, and it will also ensure that timely declaration of results, also ensure that we are keeping records in place for next 4, 5, 6 years. If somebody is challenging the evaluation, if somebody is submitting fee to look at the answer scripts again, all that can be solved if we are having digital kind of writing mechanism, where using a maybe a pen or maybe stylus, the answers can be written. And then today the students are very tech savvy. Maybe we can find it a little difficult to use those tools, but I believe the young kids, they are very, very tech savvy, and then they can adapt to this this medium quite fast. So in fact, Rajneesh, I would say that I'm looking for some certain solutions which can also replace not only the formative, but also the summative assessment and all that botheration of printing copies, keeping records, those. So there will be examination will be in physical mode. There will be venues, there will be examination halls, examination rooms, there will be physical proctoring. But what I mean to say, no need to have pen and paper. We can have a stylus and some device which will further for universities. So this is one area which I believe something can be achieved in the coming days. But I am all for it. I believe this is going to be further penetrative into the assessment system, and we are going to see more and more effective uses of technology in the assessment. This is my take on
Okay.
this.
Okay, thank you. And Manish, maybe you can contact with Dr. Vikas for the solution and the use cases that he was mentioning. Professor Dharam Buddhi, I'll come to you next. Again, what do you think the technology solutions need to do to make the assessment process better in the future, and how do you predict that future? Professor Dharam.
Yeah, thanks, Rajnish ji. I think already we have a lot of discussions, and good discussions definitely is going on. But I feel what I would like to add first, the 3-4 points. First is that UGC and the AICT has allowed certain online programs, and in fact they have now opened the boundaries. Earlier there was like that you can only have a catchment area of your state only or certain places, but now they are open to international boundaries. So when you are going such kind of the boundaries, such kind of the programs, online programs, and so you have to be teaching, learning, and evaluation or assessment, whatever the word we use for that. They may be different or they may be somewhere at the similar. So we have to adopt, the country, not only the universities, everyone slowly has to adopt the new technologies, and which may be available for assessment also. The most important part, if I just share one example, I think we all generally use the flights. The pilots are there, and they are, the first training is only majorly on that simulators. So I think that there is a need to develop similar kind of systems, the machines, where even the certain engineering or medical, the certain experiments, certain kind of setups can be developed, and the students can be trained to certain extent. Because when a pilot is running, he's playing with he's having basically 800 persons are there, 1,000 persons are there in play. And when a doctor is there, he's playing only with one person. So I think we need to think and connect various technologies at one place. That is one thing. Second, as Dr. Vikas Singh also mentioned, the faculty is a very important stakeholder in this. So that has to be mentally prepared. That now this is the system is going to be in place, and we have to focus over it. One of the very important part, I think one of my peer speaker panelists mentioned, that the assessment of the high order thinking or high order skills. Even IITs, if I have seen it, they are doing one comprehensive viva that can be done online and offline, because when I was there, it was offline because there was no system like that. So every student is assessed what kind of the knowledge and skills both he or she has achieved during this particular semester in all subjects, not only one subject. If I studied 5 subjects, all 5 subject experts are there, including internal and external. They are discussing the very deep questions, very depth, how depth you have your knowledge and skills. So there are ways can be, SOPs can be prepared for that, in my opinion. How to assess the skills, high order skills and high order knowledge, as well as the another important thing is that we should have a policy. As I mentioned, the policies also earlier, like if you see, the UGC was not allowing the PhD evaluation online mode, but now they have permitted for that. The advantage is that now you can have a professor from around the world to evaluate a thesis, and you can get a better and better kind of feedback from there. Second most important, which I have seen now for PhD in particular, if I'm talking about PhD entrance examination or any other admission entrance examination, if we are conducting online. If you are conducting it online, the participation of diversified students are there. Otherwise, they were limited to a region, localized, because the traveling and time and everything is very important. Time is very important. So the use of technology helping to make a diversified society in the university. So that is also one important point. We must think that how we can go for a good quality solutions. Of course, I think already someone has mentioned the proctorial system is very important. I think last time I conducted with some third party the PhD entrance examination, and we had a proctorial camera system there with certain restrictions and certain benefits to the students, and that was conducted perfectly all very well, and within 3-4 minutes the result was declared. There was no waiting for that someone is coming evaluate it. The students is knowing his or her marks. Even I can take the name of the bits Pilani when they are conducting the entrance examination. The student just submit the answer sheet, the marks are available to the student. So I think the kind of the fastness we can get from such kind of technology need to be. However, it's very important. One has to think where it has the limitations. And I think the time will take its own time. And slowly, slowly, we will be able to resolve those issues also. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Manjit, your views on how the future would be and whether universities would look at full automation, leveraging technology for the entire assessment process. Dr. Manjit.
Good afternoon, sir. Actually, we are doing online also, offline both, because here persons, students, they are coming from a rural area and they are not having a good quality of network there. So that is the reason we are maintaining both. After Corona, actually, after Corona, this online method is somehow improving. And I prefer online also, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Professor Satyanarayana, conducting assessment at scale involves having processes, there are logistical challenges. So what do you think, the full automation at your university, is that going to be a reality, or what are going to be the challenges? How would the future look like?
Am I audible? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
So I think there are two issues here. One is that, see, we are clear, we are no more looking at only to know examination. Whatever is just to know information and clarification, it will be only digitalized. I mean, there is no question of, people coming into, and that will be at any scale, you can do that, you can automate it. And the other point is, we are seriously higher education. We are looking at critical thinking, creative thinking, problem solving, analytical capability, innovation. For all that to happen, we need a blend of both. And again, NEP says it is learner centric anytime, anywhere. So if learner is choose, and again, even the examination, he can choose at his, those are the parameters. So I think we need to come out of our old clerical examination mindset. We are looking at a transformational change, as Professor Singh earlier mentioned. We are no more looking at only mass examination, because, and even there will be only universities and there are not going to be affiliated colleges. So quality education, but then at the same time, even in higher order, say if I want to say have a rocket launch, a propulsion made, or if I'm doing a surgery, because of medical surgery. So even if I'm doing an as simple as a laparoscopy surgery, I mean, I cannot, today simulation tools have come, we have developed, most medical colleges would have something called a turtle to do some basic exercise in surgery and hand coordination. So and imported equipments were so expensive that most medical colleges even now do not fully use it. So we worked with a local company, leveraged digital, say image processing, video technology and all of them, and even built-in sensors, so that we said students could work with it. And I can know, even if I'm doing an insertion on a, say, a few millimeters of vein, I know what pressure I have put. So those data can also come up, because you mentioned about experiential learning. And this again has to happen in scale, and no teacher can even sense it. So for example, even whether it's, as I said, finding a problem with a rocket, finding a problem with a motor, or finding a form with a surgery. On one side, basic knowledge and general clinical reasoning or reasoning for the project problem could be linearly tabulated, automated. But somewhere, some parameters have to be only observed. But even there today, complicated parameters, because we're in the age of haptics and robotics. And I believe even that, as we said, we were able to say, what is the pressure put? It was even only a simulation tool, but even that pressure could be sensed, and the student was using, say, haptics. So we said, say, you are putting more pressure, you reduce it, so that, I mean, you will not actually cut a vein, but do the right incision to be in a position to stitch it again. Or similarly, in, say, a technical, you could say, what sense of sensor needed for process optimization in a, say, displacement happening. So I believe we have to, and especially very expensive experiments would more work with simulation, quality simulation, rather than having more resources and others. So, but we could still deliver realistic experiential learning. But for true reasoning, you need, again, actual physical assessment, maybe with a panel of people giving directly learning enabling, because through formative assessment, because finally we are most probably going away from rote learning or just summative. Predominant, only bare minimum assessment can be instantaneous, summative, but more would be formative if you're looking at higher order capability. But there the experiences can be automated. The solution and perception and analysis has to be through assessment physical. So it's a very real judicial blend, as all the other experts have already mentioned, which we need to bring in, and we need a lot more technology. And so far, I think, because if you look at whole education system, the digitalization is hardly 4 to 5% of the education industry. And digitalization and the cost involved to bring in cutting edge technology, more will happen through simulation, understanding, learning. So lot more technology has to come in to go at scale quality education. But at the same time, it has to, as I again say, right, for everybody has also said, a clear blend of digitalization with advanced capabilities of experiential learning, along with creative analytical solution with panel-based assessment in formative, where people have to sit together and has to be one-on-one, whether it is through video or whether it is in real life, and even group activities. So it's a very exciting situation. We look forward to many exciting solutions from technologists, and digitalization, we cannot wish it away. If we truly want to deliver global quality knowledge and skill, lot more digitalization and technology adaptation has to happen. And we are not even touching the tip of the iceberg there. But at the same time, the biggest challenge will be, is the teacher fully educated and aware to use the tools, and has he the cognitive ability to link the two and give realistic unbiased solution? Because generally most digital solutions, we are more believing that it's fair, open, unbiased, as everybody has already said. So bring in that unbiasedness and also formal learning happening at every stage of formative assessment. So it needs far more higher order of digitization, and also it would enable us to deliver quality at a lesser cost for a scale. Because as I say, I cannot bring 100 cadavers if I want a doctor or a nurse, or even say an orthopedic or a physio, say allied health science person, paramedic to be trained. Or equally, I cannot bring aircrafts or advanced machines, automated systems in a lab. So it has to be a very, very judicious blend with far higher digitalization than what we have. And then I think, but both will have to exist. We cannot wish away either of them. And the biggest challenge is, how fast will the teacher learn all of this and be ahead of the curve with his research to actually educate the student for future problem solving? Because linear solved problems will be automated anyway, and there are no human, robots will work on them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Sanjay Kumar, your views on basically how do you see technology adding value to the assessment process, and how do you look at it, your university?
Yes, briefly, explained by VC Satyanarayana sir. Actually, like in addition to that, assessment can be done technology for the non-health sciences background students as a creative work, and also assess the knowledge gained in a particular subject. Instead of writing long essays, short notes or something, like maybe like you can ask the students to create a blog or website covering all the subject learned in the classroom, and not only the blog or website, maybe like the games also being created by the students on a learned topics. Maybe like we can include this, but there is so much of restrictions in evaluation because we have a lot of statutory council and no UGC is there, like no how that assessment will take place. It's quite a questionable one, but still maybe the students also will get interest out of it because they want to come up with some way of assessment where we can include this kind of innovative things. This is my opinion. Let's see, like the NEP should take place, and maybe we'll come up with some plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Manish, again, you have heard how the future would look like. Briefly, if you can give your views on how technology will be used, leveraged in the assessment process, and how can these make the processes easier and better?
So, positively, I think there is a lot of work happening on bringing 3D space into the assessment domain. And there are, solutions now which are working on providing, 3D labs in the metaverse. And that's an area which can help, take us to conducting experiments or practicals in a 3D world, which can help in delivering these kind of assessments also to students on the digital mode. And of course, as Professor Satyanarayana was saying, that you can have your panels on on a video feed, and you can conduct a lot of the video vivas, and whether it is for admission selection or whether it is for within course activities, and that can help in just streamlining many of the activities which need to be done for fair evaluation of higher order skills. And I would want to point out here about what Vikas Singh ji was saying, that the evaluation of the answer scripts and the subsequent storage, etc., are a big challenge. And that's an area where the on-screen marking solutions are able to meet at least 75% of the end goal, that the answer scripts are not required anymore post the exam day, and they can be book scanned and then kept for evaluation, which I was describing a little bit earlier. And then the whole archival process, or whether it is to take it up back again and show it to the show the evaluated script in a digital format to the student, all of that just eases up this quite tedious and physical activity of conducting summative exams within our legal framework. So I think that's a solution which universities are fairly adopting. Of course, trying to capture it at the initial stage itself brings in hardware dependence and a hardware risk, because irrespective of what, it will finally be a hardware device which will need to get plugged in to be able to get you to capturing the digital format, which to be very honest still leaves a lot besides the feel of the pen on the paper, or the pencil on the paper. It's still not the same as the stylus on the tablet. So for a lot of creative skills and a lot of writing, it's just not going to give you the same feel. And that's a challenge which of course the hardware guys are trying to solve. But the rest of the evaluation cycle is fairly online, and a good on-screen marking or a digital evaluation tool can help universities make that transition, which currently I think a lot of technical universities have adopted, but the mass scale universities are yet to adopt. So that's my view on what's quite likely to happen.
Thanks. So before I conclude, what I would like to do is conduct a very small survey, and no opinion or anything. I just want to ask the question: if we do look at using technology, it can be in an offline mode. So what would like to understand is your university, and if we look at the next 3 to 4 semesters, will the assessment process be online, offline, or hybrid? Just that answer. What are your plans? So again, I'll start with Dr. Shashian.
So for the next three, if you look at the next 3 or 4 semesters, the assessment process at our university will be hybrid.
Thank you. Dr. Sasi Prabhu.
Yeah. So the same way. So our end semester will be surely in offline. Other assessments will be in online. It's in hybrid mode only.
Dr. Balakrishna. Okay, Dr. Vikas.
Next 4 semester, it's going to be hybrid. But I'm looking for more interventions if possible. That's my point, sir.
Sure. Professor Satyanarayan.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely going to be hybrid, and we want to see how can we bring in more technology incorporation to even remove the doubt of bias among students. But in the presence of, and one just point I want to add extra is that, see, we are still looking at, as I said, it's a transformation. If my son and daughter are, say, studying in Europe and US, see, they go to the exam, the teacher is not looking at, as I said, the 2 no. So they are allowed even cheat sheets. So it is, what is their ability to solve a problem? And similarly, you see today, whether I'm doing a smart city, a smart aircraft or a submarine, integrated structural health monitoring sensors, all, so situations are dynamic. So I have to analyze. So it has to be a blend only. I mean, with more and more complication, I would believe it's a blended process.
Sure.
Which would.
Sure. So blended one. Dr. Sandil.
Of course, it's hybrid mode.
Dr. Manjit. Dr. Manjit. I think she has again got disconnected. So we are Dr. Manjit, Dr. Bala. I think he has got disconnected. So then we'll come to a conclusion of this. What sort of, if you look at sum it up, the general consensus, yes, even though things have gone back to normal, but assessment process is likely to have a hybrid look and feel to it going ahead in the future. Technology definitely needs more improvement, and there are a lot of pros and cons to using technology. However, some of the basic, the practical and the more experiential learning that needs to be done offline only. And from Manish, we came to know about some of the how the solution providers are looking at working with the academia to achieve this process. So thanks a lot to all the panelists, and also a thank for being very specific on the timing. Thanks a lot. Wishing all of you a good day.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having, and wish you all a happy new year. I know we are still a few days away. Happy Christmas and happy new year to everybody. And it was wonderful learning from everyone. Thanks again to APAC for having us.
Thank you, sir, for this amazing
Thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you,
so
sir.
much.
Thank you. Thank you for conducting.
Thank you.